So we live another Wednesday night Eagles Elite Podcast episode, bringing you interactive Eagles talk every week, all year. Football season, off season, we here. So y'all, we've gotten to that point. Training camps going on, joint practices, preseason games. So we got things happening, got plenty to talk about. So with that being said, let's not waste the time. Bring in my co-host. Wyatt, what's going on, my guy?
Not too much, man. One step closer to the season. We got one preseason game down, a couple more to go, but one step closer. We getting there. I'm excited to talk about everything.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And of course, we also have with us the Eagles Diva.
What's going on, Bird Gang Nation? We back. We're getting closer and closer. Let's talk about it.
You already know. So let's do that flip up real quick first. I had to let them be on top. I'm just here to, I'm just here to
Yeah, here we go.
So y'all, before we get started, let's go ahead and get it hype real quick, and then we're gonna turn it up for a minute.
The kick is away, and the kick it's good! And the Eagles win!
It's hard to come to South Philadelphia and leave here with the win. You just don't come to Philadelphia and leave here with the win.
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
All right, y'all. As usual, it just gets me going, when I see that. That's great video. Appreciate everybody that's watching, everybody that will tune in. If you are watching live or the replay, make sure you share, make sure you like it for us. It's not a lot for y'all, but it means a lot to just helping the show grow and help YouTube know this is an interactive show. This is a show we need to be letting people know about. So appreciate you guys watching. So a lot of things have happened, y'all. In the land of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Hold on, let's give our co-host a shout out, a birthday shout out. Today's his birthday. Y'all shout Wyatt out. Today's his birthday.
Well, I was gonna say that for the end,
Oh, you gonna say for the end? No, let's go.
I was gonna say that for when more people watching, so everybody can know whose birthday it is. You know what I'm saying? But hey,
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Turned a big 3-0 today.
Okay. All right, so a lot has happened since last week. We're gonna do what we always do, Wyatt. Drop us some news, man, and then I think we may have a couple more things to go over after that. But what you got for his birthday guy?
Yeah, man, we're gonna get the bad news out of the way from the get-go. Unfortunately, during the preseason game and everything, a linebacker, a position we are already kind of, thin at. Linebacker and special teamer Sean Bradley is out for the season with a torn Achilles. You hate to see it. I mean, there's injuries going around all through these training camps. We've been fortunate to avoid this kind of thing, but it's bound to happen sooner or later. And Sean Bradley, on a position like special teams where he excels at, it seems, where they've been using him a lot. That's a piece we really needed to stay in there, because now it's even thin at linebacker, and even more so to a special teams unit that wasn't very good at all last year.
And you're being kind when you say wasn't very good.
Right.
But yeah, just a veteran, man, a guy that kind of knows how to be a professional, how to help the young guys in the locker room, all those different things just gone. So, it's not the optimal situation. But the good thing about early injuries is you have an opportunity to just go scour, guys going to get released. You might can go find a guy that can at least bring what he brought. It may not be the same position, but this is really for special teams. Mm-hmm. But hopefully we can go out and get a guy, after cuts and everything, we may be able to go find a guy that can at least fill that role, this year. So that's the good part about it. But hate to see a guy that's been there, that understands the culture and everything, just not being able to be there for a full season.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that Howie would go out and try to get somebody else. Maybe not for depth purposes, but just for the special teams, unless they have someone else on the practice squad they're looking at. But I mean, we just brought in 2 LBs this past week, so maybe that'll help a little bit. But those were veterans. I don't know. They got some moves they might have to make here before the start of the season.
We'll definitely see. D, would you have any thoughts on that injury?
No, it's just a sad situation, but I mean, that's the world of football. You have a chance of getting injured before you even start the season. But yeah, I mean, hopefully it'll give us a chance to kind of fill his position and go kind of look to see who's coming up on that trade cut, or, once they start cutting people for the season.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. What else you got for us, Wyatt?
We went out and signed a defensive tackle, Olive Sagapaloo. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. Apparently he was undrafted out of Wisconsin in 2019. He's bounced around through a couple different teams. I don't believe he has started any games though in the NFL, but we ended up signing him, possibly just maybe a training camp body, see what's going on there. I mean, defensive tackle, it seems like we're pretty much set at. So I don't know, maybe just kind of kicking the tires, maybe someone they could hold on to, try to build up for maybe, who knows, next couple of years, or just depth purposes.
Yeah, it never hurts to bring guys in, because you never know, like you say, injuries, depth. Just see, maybe we can do something with them in our offense. I mean, our defense is like a third string or practice squad guy, whatever. It never hurts to bring in guys that are kind of on that cusp. So not a big move, but never hurts. Worst case scenario, just get cut again.
Go to another team. But also Amazon announced that they are releasing a new documentary called Kelsey, and it's following Jason Kelsey all through last season, apparently, which is going to be awesome. I can't wait to check that out whenever it airs. But it goes through the entirety of all last season, and it's going to be released on September 12th. So get some more behind the scenes Eagles stuff. Be interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah, that should be very interesting. Yeah, definitely should be interested to see.
That locker room speech before the Super Bowl was everything.
Yeah. It hurts, especially going to be covering it here in the next couple of weeks. I'm not eager to get back to that game.
Actually, next week.
Next week we covering it. Oh, it's going to be rough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But hey, it happened as part of the season. If it would have turned out differently, it wouldn't be so hard. So it is what it is. We're going to get over it because I believe these guys are going to go out and take care of business this year, and we're going to do what we almost did last year. Mm-hmm. So, hey, until we don't, we still can.
Right.
That's how I'm looking at it, until something else happens. I feel like we got the opportunity. Just got to take advantage of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's where we're at this year. Any other news you got, Wyatt?
Last thing I had was just more so about our QB1. Went out and signed a deal with Jordan Brand. We were seeing him rocking those cleats all last year and everything. It's dope. See, it's awesome seeing him sign a huge deal like that. They even released like a pretty cool hype, video and everything about it. And apparently he's even saying that he's even linked up with Jordan and he's been like a mentor to him kind of. So it's like this dude got the goat whispering in his ear. Like, dude's already working hard enough. Dude's going to go out here and show out this year. I'm sure. I guarantee you.
Oh yeah. He gonna show out. Show up and show out.
Yeah.
That's what he does, man. I love it. I like he's been wearing, like you said, he's been wearing the shoes anyway, so it's a great deal for him. There's not a lot of athletes that get Jordan Brand deals, especially in football. So that's big. It's smart for Jordan to get with a guy that stars definitely on the rise, right mentality, clean off the field. You haven't heard anything about any situations with him off the field. So he's been exactly the kind of guy that you want representing your brand. So definitely a smart idea by Jordan, and a great idea by Hurts and his team to go ahead and make that happen. That's smart for them as well. So, it's a win-win situation. I believe it helps the Jordan Brand get more into the NFL, more into the cleat side and all that. And that's, a untapped market, I feel like, for Jordan Brand. Nike's in there, Reebok's in there, all the other brands are in there. Jordan Brand, it's time for you to get in there. Under Armour's in there. It's time for you to get in there, Jordan Brand. So, And if you're gonna do it, why not make a splash? So I love it.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool to have Hurts as like the face of the Jordan brand for the NFL, kind of.
That would be dope. That would be dope. So, a couple of other things here, guys. So, one of the things that I saw was Hassan Reddick has a thumb injury. It's not expected to stop him from being able to play week 1, but still an injury. So he hasn't been. It started when he first he had a groin injury, right? Now he's got a thumb, so now you're kind of like, oh, come on, Hassan Reddick, we don't need that. But the good news is we do have Nolan Smith, so if he does need to miss time for that or something else that would happen, not wishing anything bad to happen, especially to my own players, but if something does happen, we do have some guys who can step in and take care of things in the form of a guy like Nolan Smith. So that's a big plus that we wouldn't have had in the past if we had injury. Depth is really important in the NFL. For those of you who may not be aware, depth is very important because any little thing that can knock a guy out for a week or a couple of weeks can change your fortunes. So glad we do have, that depth.
As we've seen last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. So we're gonna we got a couple of Giants games to talk about. We're just gonna do it with the three of us this time, just because one was pretty good game. We still won. The other, we know what happened. So we're just gonna do these ourselves. But before we get to that, a couple more things here. So earlier this week, training camp news. Eagles dominating the Browns in joint training camp practice. Reed Blankenship, a guy that I've been high on all offseason. There have been outlets saying, oh, maybe he's not as good, and they're concerned about his play. But he's played really well, especially in this. Hurts has been making some good throws. He had a couple of overthrows, but I feel like early in the preseason, if the baddest thing is overthrows, we're good to go. If there are not a lot of interceptions and all the misreads, just overthrows, that's something you can correct throughout the season. He's had touchdown passes to different people. He's connected with A.J. Brown in traffic. He's had a couple. He's had Boston Scott catch one, Devontae Smith, of course. He's looking stronger every practice. He's looking better. And that's what you want from QB1, right? Landon Dickerson didn't practice since Monday because of a foot problem. Then, of course, the thumb injury we talked about with Reddick. A couple of other ones, Quez Watkins and Britton Covey missed practice with hamstring injuries. Patrick Johnson, ankle, missed his 6th straight practice. He got carted off on August 4th. Yeah.
Yeah, they thought that was going to be bad at first.
Yeah, and then Deion Kane, actually, his ankle's hurting, but he should be practicing moving forward.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of this is precautionary too. Since it's so early, they don't want to risk them having to go out and injure themselves even more before the beginning of the season. Like they know what a lot of these guys can do. I mean, some of those guys you mentioned maybe not, but we know what Reddick can do, what Dickerson can do. They're fine sitting out until the beginning of the season, most likely.
Yeah, Sidney Brown got into a little scuffle after he decked Demetric Felton, one of the Browns running backs, on an interception return from a tip pass that Blankenship got. And that's the second day in a row that's happened.
Derek Barnett out here fighting people. Like, bro,
Derek
what are you doing?
Derek Barnett is wild. Derek Barnett is one of those guys that you just hope that he takes that wild energy and focuses it properly. That's pretty much all you can say about Derek Barnett.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man.
You just hope, right? Because he's on the team. So
one could hope, but like, I don't know. I could see them cutting with him soon.
I don't know, man. He seems like one of those guys that they're going to keep around. Listen, I'm not upset that they weren't cutting, but it just seems like one of those guys that they're going to keep around.
Yeah, I mean, he was a high draft pick. Howie ain't going to give up on him that easily. Especially after coming off an injury like that.
Right.
And you got to think about the other thing too. For me, we have a lot of these guys that have these situations going right. They may bonehead plays early, but it's okay because they get their mind right. They get back into it. Let's just hope he's another one of those. He's got the injury, so hopefully everything's good. So, guys, got a couple of comments here. Pause here and hop on those. Of course, Philly slides in early with us with a Fly Eagles fly. Fly Eagles fly. Philly. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got Coach Dante with a what up?
What up, Dante?
Philly hits you with a happy birthday, Wyatt.
Thank you, Philly. Appreciate it.
Rod
What
in
up,
the building. What's up, Rod?
Inching towards that week 1, Rod. We getting closer.
Yes, sir.
We
Coach
good.
Dante, how are you doing? What's up, Coach? And then Coach with a what up, fam? Appreciate that. And then we got Key from Key in the building. Another one of our Eagles divas. She's been on the show before, giving us a little bit. And then here goes Coach Dante. This roll right here, this roll. He says, if y'all want Davis Mills, he's up for grabs right now. I'll take Mariota, man. I appreciate the heads up, but we'll take Mariota. I appreciate the heads up, though. And Key has a solid response for you there, Coach Dante. We're going to go with Key's response. There we go. The Bishop, we're going to call it the Bishop Bullwinkle response. I'm with it. So, yeah, it's a lot, right, that's been happening. Jalen Carter, big reps. They have no answer for Devontae Smith. And this is high praise. After that practice where they dominated, Darius Slay says it's not going to be too much long before they say Smitty is the best receiver in the league. When you got a guy like Darius Slay saying that has some meaning to it.
I mean, if you didn't see that when he was at Alabama and how hard he worked his last year, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, that boy's story was amazing.
Yeah.
Apparently, Mariota, who also did, fairly well, I think, in the first preseason game, had a turn in a night practice for the part that he played. Playing with some of the backups, Jack Stoll, got a touchdown to Greg Ward, had a touchdown to Tyree Cleveland, who actually has been having a really good camp and practices as well.
Cleveland looked really good in that preseason game.
Had a couple of overthrows too, but hey, that happens.
Yeah.
And then one more thing to touch on with your boy Derek Barnett. And we didn't have this last year, and he wasn't playing. So ironically, with the injury, he was out, and there's things that happened. Personal foul penalties. It's always Derek Barnett.
Man,
always him.
Listen, man. Listen.
Always him.
And just for y'all that don't know, that the Eagles had a walkthrough today. Tomorrow night, preseason game at the link. So Thursday night, find a way to find it. Preseason game, Philadelphia Eagles. Let's go. But there's more we could talk about. But, we're going to go ahead and start to slide into this meat and potatoes for the day, y'all, because we got not one, but two Giants games to review. Crazy how that worked out.
Yeah.
But we ended up playing them at the end of the season. Then we had to turn around and play them again. So, week 17, thanks to the bumbling and poor decision-making of the coaches as well as the players, we needed to win this game. Coach with the fire emojis. Appreciate that, Coach. So, we go into week 17. We couldn't win any other games prior because we couldn't win anything with our backup quarterback. So this is a game that shouldn't even matter, but has a lot of importance to the Philadelphia Eagles in the sake of we had to win it or it was going to be no first round bye for us because the 49ers were right there and the Cowboys. So going to that game, we end up winning that game 22-16. Right? Not a great game, but Hurts' first game back from injury. They played Davis Webb at quarterback. Their highest rusher was Gary Brightwell. Receiver was Lawrence Cager. So there's a lot of guys we haven't really heard of that were, doing things for this team.
They're playing most of their backups.
Yeah, a lot of their backups and guys that didn't get a lot of play throughout the season. But, hey, man, Hurts was out there. Like I said, not a great game from him, but coming back off injury, just trying to get himself warmed up and ready for the playoffs. Eagles Diva, let's go with you first for this one. What are your thoughts on this game, what the Eagles showed, and if the Giants impressed you with sticking in there and only losing by 6 and pretty much playing their backups on the offensive and a lot of the defensive side as well?
I just think it was a poor game all the way around. We really didn't run the ball. No, we really didn't run the ball. Boston Scott had 9 carries for 54 yards. Kenny Gainwell had 5 for 35. Miles only had 11 carries for 33. And, of course, Jalen Hurts is always in the rushing position. He had 9 carries for 13. A.J. Brown had a pretty good game, but he only had 4 receptions for 95. Devontae Smith had 7 for 67. Dallas had 6 for 46. Quez had 2 for 14. Gainwell had 1 for 7. Miles had none. Defense was real lackadaisical, especially to be playing backups. It was a really lackadaisical defense, of course, like always. I don't think we had really – some of the plays on offense wasn't as smart, especially when we got away from running the ball. And I just felt like maybe we thought because they were playing backups that we really didn't have to get in there and play hard, which is understandable because it was at the end, right before playoffs started. But I didn't like the fact that it was close in that their QB, I think he had like 150, 60-something yards, 1 interception. The fact that he was getting off like that, like, I don't know what we were doing. So that was just a lazy game that I felt like we really didn't feel like we had to put our all in because it was the end of the season and, we already had a decent record. So wasn't too happy about that game, but we came out with a dub.
That's very true. Wyatt, what about you, man?
Yeah, just like Diva said, I think even though they went into the game knowing they had to win, it seemed like as soon as they got up a little bit, like they came out, offense was able to score some points. It seems like as soon as they got up, that's when they kind of just went into autopilot for the rest of the game. Even though they kept the starters in, like they weren't really doing too much. Like, what was it? Chris Well in the comments saying Jake Elliott had a sore foot that game. Like this was the Jake Elliott game because he was making everything he had to. Like he made a couple over 50 yards. Like one was like a 54-yarder, the other I think was like a 52. But dude was on point that game. Boston Scott, anytime he played the Giants, he's gonna get he's gonna eat. He's gonna get that touchdown. But overall, they did what they needed to win this game. That defense, they were very lackadaisical, like Dee was saying. There was a very bend not break. They were letting them get the middle of the field yardage and everything, but they were able to stop them for the most part up until that third and fourth quarter where they did get those couple huge plays that led to the touchdown there. But overall, it was just kind of a lazy game for the Eagles once they got up on the Giants. Like they're just like, all right, we got this in the bag. We're just going to keep moving, which is like, it would have been nice to see them kind of put their foot on the gas or else just take the starters out. They kept the starters in the whole game. Like if you're going to be on autopilot, just put the second string in and roll at that point. Like there was no reason to risk some of those starters later in that game.
Especially with Jalen just coming off that injury.
Yeah. Exactly. Like I understand you want to get them some reps in there before the playoffs, but you can't be risking them the whole game like that.
So Coach Dante says that was the game Jake Elliott had a sore foot because of all the field goals that he was making. Then he turns around and says, Jake Elliott needed some icy hot on his foot. All
straight
the
up.
field goals he was kicking. Yeah, he was a lot of what we were doing. So we always get a troll in. It's not Rob this week. It's Chris this week. So congratulations, troll number 2. We're gonna name you Chris. But he says Cowboys are winning the division. Those kind of takes you just move on from.
Right.
Key Williams says bobblehead giant killer. Yep, Boston Scott, that guy.
Yep.
Dude is a whole other player when it comes to the Giants. Like I don't understand it.
Whatever it is, it's definitely true. When he plays the Giants, he does well.
He doesn't like it, I don't think.
What's funny is statistically, Davis Webb actually outplayed Jalen Hurts because he was 23 or 40 for 168. He ran a touchdown, and he threw one to Kenny Galladay, who we didn't hear a lot from last year.
Yeah. That was a big touchdown he ran too. That was an aggressive touchdown he ran.
Yeah. And then, Hurts, he had the 229, one interception. Scott ran for a touchdown.
That was a boneheaded interception too. I don't know why he threw that ball. There was like 3 defenders around Smitty when he threw that ball. I was like, what are you doing, man?
I guess he was just hoping he could fit it in that hole.
I guess.
Right. And all Jake Elliott did was
pop up the top.
Make 5 field goals with as long as being 54 yards.
Yeah.
So Coach Dante was right. Basically, Jake Elliott scored as many points as the Giants by itself in this game.
Right.
So yeah, definitely not our best game. I felt like it would be sloppy. I was concerned with keeping Hurts out as long as they did because I felt like he wasn't really that injured. And I felt like he should have played against New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why they didn't do it because New Orleans always has a solid defense. But it's tough when you let the number 1 seed come down to the last week of the season, right? Thankfully for us, it worked out. Thankfully, we got the bye because the bye did, I feel like, help us in the playoffs. It helped the matchups that we had for sure. So, it ended up being a good enough game, but it did bring us some concerns for things that we saw in the rematch against the 49ers and ultimately in the game we got to discuss next week along with the 49ers game. So, a lot of good can be taken away from this game.
He said Rico.
So Key says, cool, you could have played better than Uncle Rico against the Saints. Key, me or you. Wyatt or Eagles Diva could have played better than that. Yeah,
Really.
I called him White Goodman.
I could have ran the RPO better, that's for sure, man. Like I run faster than Minshew.
Listen, I think Nick Foles could have ran that better. And we know Nick Foles ain't got no speed.
He run like a 3-legged goat, but yeah, I think he still could have did better. Yeah, and I think like the offensive play calling, this is one game where I really get on Steichen for the offensive play calling because that game against the Saints is like those last 3 games, he really stunk it up. But when you had the dude who we ain't gonna name on the other side, it kind of took some of the heat off of some of these bad offensive games that Steichen called because his counterpart was so terrible every week. I'm not doing it this week. I'm not doing it this week.
Calm down. Light your candles.
I'm not giving him my energy this week. He's gone, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. He will get my energy next week, but I'm not giving it to him this week. So we're going to move on to the preseason game, right? It's going to take the branding. It's going to take the banner off, and we're going to talk about the preseason game. So I'll ask this question, guys. Well, let's get a coach comment up here first. So Gardner Minshew was so, and we're going to say, got dang bad in that game. A.J. Brown wanted to snatch Gardner Minshew right up out that jersey. I saw the frustration on A.J. Brown's face. Oh, yes, you did.
Oh, yeah.
And, sir, if you had been watching that game with me, you would have been laughing very hard. Okay? I was at the sports bar watching the game, and let's just say the Cowboys fans, all the fans that were around me started coming over and sitting with us and laughing because I was going in. So, yeah, I felt like A.J. Brown times 10. But I got my candles lit. I knew it was going to come up, so I already had the candles lit, y'all. I got the candles lit. All 3 of them. I got everything. I'm chilling. I'm trying to woosah this week. Next week, it may be a little bit more of an aggressive show, but I'm just relaxing this week.
Yeah, next week might be a little aggressive.
Yeah, next week.
Then we're done with it. We won't ever have to talk about it again after next week.
I'm going to exercise all of the negativity next week, and then we're going to move on to the
next week.
We don't got to talk about it until we replay them again.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to talk about it then. I'm done. After next week, I am done.
No, I'm just saying what happens when we play them this year. We'll see if we're going to be aggressive or what.
I ain't even going to go into that. But Wyatt, so any highlights or any big plays that stuck out to you in the preseason game? Anything you want to, quickly touch on in regards to the our preseason game against the Ravens?
Yeah, I mean, one of the big names that stuck out was not one we've been hearing throughout camp, and that's Elias Ricks, who had the pick 6 in the game here. He saw the coverage. He said it was something that he saw just, looking at footage on the bench there at halftime. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it was a good play by him. Hopefully, maybe that's something, kind of build something going forward with him going in camp and everything. I didn't even know this dude. I looked on our depth chart that we usually go off of for the show, and I didn't even see him on the official depth chart. So he might be like a practice squad type player. But I mean, we got to finally see some Trey Sermon action. Dude got touchdown. I would like to see Marcus Mariota throw more instead of be running more, like as much as he was. I think he's like the third leading rusher on the squad through that preseason game. He's second. He had 29 yards rushing, but like, I don't know. Mariota, he looked a little rusty. I like the other dude we had playing, Tanner McKee.
Yeah.
Tanner McKee came out and was balling.
Yeah.
Like, compared to Mariota. I mean, he doesn't have the speed that Mariota has going out and around, but go ahead, man.
McKee looked a lot better than Ian Book.
Man, Ian Book was out there looking like Gardner Minshew running for his life.
I would have put McKee back in you. I mean, it's preseason, but man, you want to win that game, put McKee back in.
Especially that last play. Man, listen. I don't know what he was looking at.
Yeah,
so
but I
Key
mean,
had a couple of things, yeah. So Key said Eli Ricks definitely. She touched
Sidney
on
Brown.
one of mine, Sidney Brown. Yep.
Yeah.
And this is a coin phrase straight from Key. Bowling ball with feet, Trey Sermon. Let's go.
That we will never probably see.
And then
yeah, exactly.
Need to go back to the books.
Yep.
Need to go back
Need to be booked up out here. Next flight.
Need to book him on a plane
Yes.
somewhere else.
We should have left him. Where was that?
With the books. We should let him read the books.
Like,
yes.
We didn't get to see any like the starters really, but I mean, it was nice seeing. Jalen Carter came out and like he only had 3 plays and he almost got a sack in the one. DeAndre Swift, man, I cannot wait to see what he's going to be doing this season. I mean, he only had like 2 carries or whatever, and he was able to have a huge run.
Yeah,
like,
that was
him
a
and
nice
Penny going back and forth is going to be nice. Maybe you throw some Trey Sermon in there during the season as well. That
he got to be
could
active.
dangerous.
Right.
Make him
Yeah.
active.
True.
Yeah.
True.
And Key, you are right. Penny did get hurt. From what I read, it's nothing serious. But like I said,
Yeah, I think
I've
he's
been
back
saying
at practice.
Yeah, what I've been saying the whole time is, let's be real. Penny and Swift are not going to both make it through this whole season healthy. They never have within their careers.
Yeah.
That's why I thought it was a good idea to bring both of those guys there. So if one goes down, hopefully the other one doesn't at the same time. So that way we kind of have one of those.
Fill one of them spots.
If they ever want to make him active. Apparently he's doing so well, but they don't want him to be active.
I don't understand it. They must be seeing something that we're not behind closed doors.
Well,
I don't think they see what we see. I don't think they're seeing that though.
They got to see something we don't, because we don't get to see him.
Siri always talking them up. And
He talks him up, but then he never puts him in.
Activate them.
Yeah, he never activates him, never gives him an opportunity to go in and play. You know.
I don't understand it.
Oh, she says Brooks is gone. He might be gone, but I haven't had a chance to see the cuts so far. I know we're trying to start cutting players whenever. You can cut them between now and the end of the third game. So, after the third game, before the season starts, you can go ahead and get your team down. So, Book should be on. Your Book should be on because, you're saying he needs to be. She's saying he needs to be.
Yeah, he needs to be.
Yes, he definitely does need to be gone.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew that when I saw him. I mean, he was the third string quarterback in New Orleans. Right. He needs to go work out with Carson Wentz. They're at the same level. Both of them get ready for the XFL next year. How about that?
Yeah.
But did y'all see the picture? I have to bring this up.
That dude looked like a fool.
You talking about that foolishness? Yeah, I put it in the chat, man. I don't know what that was.
What are you trying to accomplish here, man?
Somebody bring me back. One of 3 of y'all bring me back.
Please.
I'm like,
I'm loyal. See, I kept all my gear.
Somebody help me.
Colts pants. Then you got the Commander.
Then you got the Eagles helmet on.
Come on, man. You trying to remind
went
people
to a clearance sale at the NFL shop. Just got whatever you could.
I'm like, you trying to remind everybody 3 teams didn't want you, bro? What are you doing?
He want a job, y'all. He's screaming for a job.
XFL.
Yeah, this is next. Or
that's probably the best option. Like, if he
Right.
wants to try to make himself look good again and go back into the NFL.
Hey, Rob, hit him up, Rob.
Unless he wants to just be a backup somewhere, if someone will take him.
The Canadian League can take him. I'm sure.
That's an option.
Maybe arena football.
USFL, yeah.
Man, he go over there. Again,
Arizona. Oh boy.
Well, he would look better than old boy when he was standing up there at practice the other day, looking like Lord have mercy.
Oh, with the training, bro.
Yes.
It's like, bro, what are you doing?
I know this is an Eagle show, but I have a PSA for Kyler Murray. Don't do it. Right? Like Nike says, just do it. I'm telling you, don't do it.
Don't do
Reverse check. Just don't do it.
I mean, I don't
even help you.
I don't even think Zeke do it no more. So if he don't do it, why are you doing it? Zeke brought that in to the game. You hear me?
I forgot about that.
Yep. Brought that in. He don't even do it no more. So
Kyler's like, I'm bringing it back.
Y'all got us on.
Nah, bro. You need to put it away. Put that away.
Talking about the toddler with a training bra on.
Man, well, because that toddler gonna be on the he gonna be on the sideline. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh my god.
Keith said he looked like Tracy Morgan from Longest Yard. And Keith, that was the first thing I thought of when I saw that. The very first thing I thought of. I was like, bruh. That's all I can think of. But yeah, a toddler with a training bra. That's all. I don't understand what's happening, but it's happening. I don't understand. It's just happening. All right. I needed that after the thinking about he who should not be named, so that was very helpful. Thank you, Kyler Murray. You did bring a moment of happiness. It's your own expense, but a moment of happiness for us.
I mean, we're trying to help him too. Like, bro.
Yeah, we're trying to help you out.
We're making fun of you, but at the same time, like, come on, man.
PSA, man. Let's not do that. Let's just not do that. That's PSA.
I mean, your boys probably should have been looking out for you too. Like, maybe I might want to keep that at your personal gym at your house or whatever. You can wear. Like, come on, don't be going to the facility. Like, not a good look.
What your boy should have said was, man, give me that. And they should have took a match and a trash can and got rid of it for you. That's what your boy should have done.
Mm-hmm.
That's what your boy should have done.
Mm-hmm.
I feel what you're saying, why, but I'm saying your boy should have been like, look, bro, give me that.
Not a good decision.
Blame it. That's what they should have did. Real talk.
That's how you gonna have a little Billy with abs.
Yeah, he got like half. Yeah, that was wild.
That's hilarious.
Maybe, hey, you know what? Maybe he was trying to take away from that. That's why he had on the toddler training bra. Maybe that's what's it. Maybe that's what's supposed to happen.
Maybe he's just trying to distract us from the fact that he's not just going to be what everybody said he was going to be. Period.
Yeah. Internet be doing him dirty though. I like every time I see Kyler Murray, I think of that picture where it's like they enlarge the football.
Yeah,
it makes him look like super tiny. With
he looks like a little baby midget.
Every time, like the internet has ruined Kyler Murray. Like I cannot look at this dude the same way anymore. And then he goes and does this.
Me either. Like every time I see that picture, that's what I expect to see on the field. That little tiny
player. But let me tell you one thing. We talking all this trash about Kyler Murray. We better not get on the next FPS to come out. Because if we do, he gonna give us that work. And that's where he spent his time at.
Yeah. You know he's pick up his iPad and watch some film, put down them sticks.
Yeah.
He gonna be on them sticks, bro. That's what he gonna be on. He gonna be on them sticks all day.
They announced new Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona's like, oh no.
Arizona's
gonna start paying Activision all that to start delaying these games until after the football season, so you could concentrate.
Man, they better do something. Cut off the servers too. Real talk. Cut off the servers to his IP address, so he can't get on the old games either, because he better probably switch to the old one just to keep playing. Doing the capture the flag matches and stuff. But we digress a little bit, y'all. So we're gonna hop back to the second Giants game. This was the NFL divisional round playoff game. The Philadelphia Eagles home against the New York Football Giants. We running it back for the previous week. There's a lot of talk about the Giants exposed Philadelphia. The Eagles were not ready for the Giants. The Giants had momentum. They almost beat them with their starters not even playing. So we're back. Starters are out there. Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Richard James, all those guys are out there, So, guys, we'll start this one with you, Wyatt. Your thoughts on the divisional round Giants game matchup that we had?
What happened is exactly what we thought was going to happen. Danny Nichols came out here and stunk it up. The Eagles defense was, Hassan Reddick was just a menace out there. I mean, he only got like 1.5 sacks, but he was constantly putting pressure on damn near every play. Offense came out on that opening drive and looked perfect. Went downfield, made some huge plays. They were just in sync. I mean, they looked like a completely different team than a couple weeks before when they played the game we just talked about. They were doing everything they needed to do. Offense was on fire. The running backs were running extremely well. I mean, Kenny Gainwell, what was the stats here? He had 112 yards on 12 carries and a touchdown. Miles had 90 yards on 17 carries. Jalen Hurts also put 34 up. And Devontae Smith had 61 yards. Dallas Goedert 58. So, the receiving, they didn't really need to they didn't even need to pass the ball that much because as soon as we got up on them, we leaned into that run game like we should have been doing all year long. And, this is what happens when you get up on them. Just run that ball out, man. And this is exactly what happens. 38-7. I know he who must not be named kind of screwed us in the past, but this game, he did exactly what he needed to. Maybe he actually game planned for this one. He wasn't doing interviews and preparing for interviews and everything.
I'll save my comments to my turn. Go ahead,
hold my tongue.
It was straight Eagles domination. We understood the plan and the progress, and we made that happen. We knew we couldn't be playing around in the divisional round because we wanted that nice number 1 seed spots. So we dominated, and he actually played. Actually kind of had a decent game plan when it came to the Giants this go around. That's probably only the second or third game that he had that was decent through the whole season. But yeah, Hassan Reddick was on fire. Offense was on fire. We just totally dominated, period. That's just what we did. Like, it was laser focused.
So Keith says my son is taller than Mary. Keith, I think my daughter's taller than Mary.
I think my sons are taller than Mary.
Then Keith says he was less than nickels, he was pennies. So
Danny Pennies.
I must steal something from another guy that was the Eagles guy that was talking about. He said he was Danny the Buffalo pennies.
Oh, wow.
Not even regular pennies, the Buffalo pennies.
Wow.
But he was never going to be Danny Dimes. I think he was Danny Pennies in this game as well. So what I do have to say, and I'm going to say this in a calmer voice than normal. I think that Jonathan Gannon still did not game plan because I think Jonathan Gannon is an ignoramus. I think the players had just played this team the previous week, and the players got together and said, hey, this is what we need to do. We just played these dudes. We watched from the side. We know what's up. Let's go out here and make some things happen. I do not believe that he was able to game plan all of a sudden and then couldn't figure it out the next week or the week after that. So for me, I don't think he did anything. I think the player said, this guy is not mid-thought, cut me off. I love it. Jonathan Gann / Donkey. And he is Donkey, okay?
Yeah, he's behind him.
He is
trash.
As I like to say.
He got bailed out by his players. I mean, that's what we've been talking about for the past couple of years. Ever since he came here, you've been being bailed out by these good players on the defense, and he's just kind of taking the credit for it.
Yeah, but when things go wrong, he's got the blank, stupid stare that makes you want to just go punch him in the face. But I'm trying. Breathing my candle scent here. Breathing my candle scent. He's not doing this to me. He's not doing this to me because he's gone. And I'm gonna get it out next week, but I'm not gonna do it now. But yeah, this was the kind of game that we want to see. A lot of running touchdowns. I believe everyone besides Miles Sanders had a running touchdown, which is ironic, right? Scott, Hurts, and Gainwell had running touchdowns. Sanders didn't, but he got the boatload of the carries at 17. So he had 17 for Gannon, 12 for Gainwell, 9 for Hurts, and 6 for Scott. That's a lot of running the ball. Hurts only had 24 attempts in the air, still threw 2 touchdowns and 154 yards. So a very efficient game by Jalen Hurts. Smith and Goddard had, receiving touchdowns as well. So just a really good game. A.J. Brown didn't even really get off this game.
Mm-hmm.
But
man, that touchdown Goddard had was amazing. Like that one-handed catch.
Mm-hmm.
Wild.
It was. Sacks. Cox had a sack. Brandon Graham had a sack. Josh Sweat had 1.5 sacks. So a lot of sacks going around. And there's been a lot of talk about how much we're going to miss Javon Hargrave. So I'm gonna throw a little statistical salt at Javon Hargrave. 1 tackle in this game against the Giants in the playoffs. 1 tackle.
Then who's still talking about that boy? We done moved on.
No, I'm just saying people are talking about, the Eagles are gonna miss Javon Hargrave and they're not gonna be able to replace him and blah blah blah.
We have.
Just to let y'all know, in the playoffs, when the games start to matter, 1 tackle. Just I'm gonna help y'all keep track of what he did throughout the playoffs for us, good or bad, as we talk about these last 2 games next week as well. Because if he's so important to the Eagles that we should have paid him way more than he's worth, just so he wouldn't go to the 49ers, I would expect him to be a guy that could show up for us in the playoffs. So we're going to see what he did in the other games as well.
I mean, we want to be real. He didn't start popping off until he came to Philly and started playing with these other monsters on the D line.
Hey.
Except for the ones in the back. You can't hear it.
Wyatt said it. I'm not going to disagree with him. He ain't on the island with that when I'm standing right behind him.
He earned his dough. He did what he needed to do. But come on, look at the history here a little bit.
And I don't really think he's not gonna do what he did with the Eagles because it's a totally different team. It's a totally different game scheme, and a lot of times you're not gonna be able to carry over what you did for one team, especially with the core of teammates that you had, that you'll be able to do with the next team because everybody's team is different and they roll differently. So we'll see.
And make sure you say that from your chest, from your diaphragm, so everybody can hear it. You know what I'm saying? Front, back, and the sides.
You know what I'm saying?
And I ain't trying to hate on Hargrave. I
mean, I'm not.
He's a great player, but that we just stating facts.
A lot of these players
thinks that he's such a huge role.
Let's see what they really do.
He was the main anchor of this defensive line or something. It's that's not true. We'll find. I think Milt Williams is going to have a great year.
Oh, yeah.
So, interesting thing. Fletcher Cox said that a couple of former Eagles players that left have reached out to him and said that they wish they were still in Philly.
Worst decision they ever made. Oh, I believe it. I believe it.
So here's the thing. You quick to go chase those funds, and I ain't knocking you for doing it. The only problem I have with the people who left is the chirping, right? I don't care that you left because I get it. If I'm working for company A and company B offering me a lot more money to go do the same job, yeah, I'm going to take the money. I'm not even going to knock you for that. But that doesn't mean I got to go chirp on company A because I go to company B. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's like if I make pizzas, if I make Domino's and I'm a general manager, Pizza Hut offer me an extra $20,000 a year to still be a general manager. Yeah, I'm going to Pizza Hut, but I ain't got a dog Domino's just because I left and went to Pizza Hut. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But that's what they're doing. So, hey, enjoy it because you've been chirping and talking a lot all season. Whole lot of things to say, but now the season's coming around, which means you got to actually play in games for the other team. People get to see how you respond to being in this new place, being a focal point with your pay raises. So, hey, congratulations to y'all for getting the money. The chirping is going to be interesting.
But the thing is, they're going to get that money, but they're not going to be happy. Like Fletcher Cox said, a lot of them said that was the worst decision they ever made, and they went for the money thinking You know what I'm saying? They're going to shine at that other team, and then they're realizing that the culture, it's more about just the money. It's about your locker room and your culture, and Philadelphia has a good culture. And once they leave that culture and go somewhere else, they realize they're not going to get that. So then they're like, dang, I done chased some money, but I'm not happy.
Mm-hmm.
World's smallest
Or if you're in a
ball.
situation that like you're successful because of the great players you're around. Like, so you go to this other team, they may have some great pieces around there, but they may not complement you well, and you're not going to be able to do what you were able to do on that previous team.
It happens a lot, you know, and that's why I think one of the reasons why ever since that 2011 team that the Eagles had, we haven't brought in a lot of like high price, high name free agents. Right? We brought in guys who are kind of middle of the court, middle of the other thing, unless it's a trade. Like the Slay deal was a trade. You know, Bradbury, we kind of got him, but he wasn't looked at the way he is now when he came to Philly last year. He exploded in Philly last year. He understood that. So he said, you know what y'all offering? He didn't go say, hey, if you're not going to pay me this, I'm not coming. He said, what y'all offering? They worked it out. They made it happen. He understood this is Philly's defense, the way they play, the style they play, made me better. So let me route with these cats. And there's nothing wrong with that. People act like something's wrong with saying, hey, I know I was good because of the system I was put in. Let me stay in that system. To me, that's smart, right? NBA players do it all the time. I know I'm good here. I could go over here and get more money, but if I come back here, I know I can still continue to play at the level that I'm at. It's time for guys to understand that sometimes it is a team. Sometimes it's you. Sometimes you're just a dominant player, but a lot of times it could be the situation that you're put in. So, hey, smart to go back to the situation that worked.
That's what I was gonna say. It's rare to find that one dude that can do everything himself. Is that star player? Like you have to have that roster that goes around that one piece to help them, you know, take their game to the next level.
It's always a team effort, especially if you're trying to win the Super Bowl. It's not just a one player game.
Yeah, for sure. As much as some people want to make it like that, make it seem like that.
And when you're trying to dominate being one player, that's how you get injured a lot.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
For sure.
And to those players that left, they want to do a whole bunch of chirping. I have a message for you.
You know your damn role and shut your damn mouth.
Exactly.
Grass isn't always greener on that other side.
No.
Chris Brown said it.
Especially in Detroit. There ain't no green grass over there.
So ain't.
E-Money. What's going on, E-Money? Go Birds all day, sir, around these parts. All day. Appreciate you checking us too. Yes. So, Diva, we'll start with you. Any last thoughts before we kind of get ready to end things here?
Yeah, I want to know why we're not trading or putting Quez on the back burner and bringing Greg Ward back to where he should be in the wide receiver position, because Greg Ward reminds me of Avante, who always caught the ball. As you've seen, he caught the ball in preseason. He did it when we had him on the team a few years ago when he was in the starting lineup. Why is he not the number 3 receiver? Anybody want to know? Anybody want to answer that?
Well, I'll tell you what I see. Right. I do agree with Key here. He's like Avant. He's got hands. I do agree he's got hands. I do agree he can run routes. But I think speed is an issue because of how the league has changed since Avant was there. I think there are situations where he should be on the field. I hope he sees more action this year. And,
I got some thoughts.
Coach, I got some final thoughts.
That's what I know, man. Coach is a diehard Texas fan. I love this guy, man.
Well, if you got Davis Mills for $25.99, we got Ian Book for $2.99.
Hey, we'll swap you Ian Book for Davis Mills.
Yeah.
And we'll still be getting an upgrade. That's how bad Ian Book is.
Yeah, we've seen Davis Mills be competitive in games before. I never seen the sort out of Ian Book.
No.
Nothing of the sort. But yeah, I think that's it. The question I have for your question, or to go with your question, is can we add in the name Olamide Zaccheaus to this discussion? Because Zaccheaus is everything a number 3 receiver should be. He's got the speed, he's got the hands, he's got the ability to run routes, and he will make those catches as well. I would like to see a guy like Greg Ward be Smitty's backup. That's where I want Greg Ward at. I want to be able to take Smitty off the field at times and put Greg Ward in the game. Because Greg Ward, like I said, catches all day. I want to see him switch things up a little bit, get some different looks and everything. And hopefully that'll happen this year with the things that have been changed within the team, within the scope of what we're looking for and how we're playing. Because if we come out more dominant offensively, that's going to take some pressure off the defense. That's going to take away dimensions from other teams. If we come out and we killing them with the score we're scoring, we put a lot of points on the board, teams are not going to worry about running the ball because they're going to need to throw. So we're going to be able to put them in a situation where they're mostly one-dimensional. That's when we can really put our ears back and kill them. That's when we can go after the quarterback. That's when the coordinator like decide who I believe is going to come in and actually be aggressive in situations and play good situational, put people in good situational football schemes. It's going to be a big difference maker for us. But that would be my thing. Zaccheaus, I think, should be in the argument. Greg Ward should be in the argument. We got a couple other receivers. If you're going to give, a guy like Quez Watkins who shows off in camp. And one last thing, and whatever you got to say, wow. Every year since he has been in the NFL, Quez Watkins has played great in the preseason. How many of those seasons has that generated over to the regular season?
It hasn't. But that's my thing. He's got the speed, but he don't have the hands. And Greg Ward has the speed. Don't have the speed, but he's got the hands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, even after seeing the preseason game, I would start looking at Tyree Cleveland too, seeing what he could do.
The thing is, the backups for A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith need to be good guys too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? They got to get that going too.
Yeah.
Coach Dante also says Ian Book needs to be in the XFL, aka the NFL G League, with Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually saw something today about like Greg Ward is like one of like 6 Eagles receivers that's been with the team for 6 years or something like that. That's been around for over 6 years.
Jason Avant didn't have the speed, but well, it's got the ball.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely down to see Greg Ward more. I thought we should have been using him more last year. Same with Pascal. I thought we should have used him more. I know they used him a lot because of his blocking ability last year, but I mean, I think they still could have used him more. I mean, the times he did get the ball, he made some decent plays. They just didn't use him nearly enough. They went to all their other weapons they have.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely think you can kind of incorporate some trick not the trick stuff I want with Greg Ward. I don't want to see him out there as QB or in the red zone situations like they have been using. I want to see him like in the slot or something like that. Do something different, but I don't want to see Greg Ward under center or anything like that.
I want to give y'all the updated depth chart at wide receiver. Okay. Now that we've had, some games and we've had the preseason game, we had some practices. It's been a couple of updates here. So we still have A.J. Brown as the starter, but his backup is now Greg Ward. Okay. We have Devontae Smith as the right wide receiver, the other side where he's been playing. His backup is Britton Covey.
Oh, my goodness. Stop playing. What? Say what again?
I said it's Britton Covey.
I think we're going to
have we even seen these? Like, have we seen them like punt, like kick return and everything? Have we even seen these dudes line up at wide receiver in like an actual regular season game?
I haven't seen him.
No.
I would like Deion Kane or Devin Allen to have a real shot at that position.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
why would you put?
This is what the updated depth chart our last shows. Then at the slot, it still has Zaccheaus as the starter, Quez as the backup. So right now, that's what it's showing. I'm really questioning the Britton Covey thing. I think Deion Kane, Devin Allen, both would be a better option there. Really, Deion Kane, because he's a guy that played really well when given the opportunities to play.
Britton Covey was horrible on, like, just the way he would run in the punt return. So why would you even put him in the?
Are they keeping these guys around just for speed? That's it? Like just because they can run fast? Like, I don't know,
man. Listen,
it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, he can run fast, but he also got stopped like really fast as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They, out of all last season when he was doing like kick returns and everything, like he maybe had like 3 nice ones.
Yeah,
other than that,
he actually got some decent yards.
Yeah, people calling him crash test Covey just because he's gonna be running straight into the defense.
I mean, straight into him. You hear me?
Straight into him. You're not going anywhere.
Straight into everybody.
We need a good returner. Like, I don't care if you got to just draft a dude specifically for returns.
I don't want to get receiver spot. I do.
So punt returners, we have Britton Covey, then Devontae Smith, then Quez Watkins, then Greg Ward.
No.
A kick returner.
Why do we put Boston Scott?
A kick returner, we did have Boston Scott, then Britton Covey, then Kenneth Gainwell, then Quez Watkins.
I'd rather have Boston Scott out there than Covey. I mean, the little bit of action we saw Boston Scott returning, he did way better.
Watkins out there than Britton Covey.
Yeah.
I mean, they claim he did a 360, but you can't say. I need to see that in regular season. I don't care about no preseason. I need to see that in regular season, not training. Listen, no. No.
Fool me twice.
I think we got to put a PSA out, y'all. We got to put a PSA out
So Coach Dante says Greg Ward is a very good athlete. He may not have the speed, but he will make a big play, and you can use him as a gadget player. He's the type of athlete I like, Greg Ward. I agree. The people that don't like him is the people in the Eagles locker room. I like him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then Keith says, I run kicks back better than Covey. You do. I've never seen you run a kick back, but you do.
I think my 10-year-old probably run better than Covey. You hear me? Like, for real.
I mean, why you hear about in like the second unit of training camp and everything, like Mariota always goes to Greg Ward, not just in the preseason game, but even during training camp, you hear about it. Like he's just kind of that safety blanket for him on that second.
You have to find ways to get him on the field. Like that's why I think new coordinators are going to be good, because hopefully the new regime will see the value in actually maybe slowing down on 1,500-yard season for A.J. Brown, 95 catches for Devontae Smith.
Right.
Both of those numbers can go down a little bit, and you can spread the ball around a little bit more. I would not be upset with that.
And keep them more healthy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Spread the ball around and keep them more healthy. No, he does not need to be on special teams. That my boy is too small for that. You hear me?
Keep AJ and Devontae away from the return game.
Y'all better not put my boy out there on that special team. You better not.
Please don't do it.
Bet not.
Yeah, I don't like him being second on the depth chart for punt returns. The only reason why I can live with that is Deshaun Jackson was there for a good part of his career as a backup punt returner. If something were to happen to the primary, and he did have a couple of electric plays back there. Yeah, Smith has some pretty good speed and hands, but I don't want him back there on a regular basis because, that's a little fella.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't want where people could tee off on one of your better wide receivers. So I really don't want to see him out there at all.
Muscle on before you start doing all that now.
Mm-hmm.
And he can't pull enough muscle. He can't pull enough muscle.
He's still gonna look skinny.
Yeah, he's just a small body type, and you can't put so much muscle on. So I don't want to see him back there at all. So, I mean, I definitely dig that. Wyatt, any last thoughts from you, sir? Or do you want to comment on Diva's question?
Oh no, I was saying like I would be all for seeing Greg Ward more going throughout the season, just kind of sporadically putting him out there, just kind of keep the defense a little guessing a little bit, introduce some new looks out there on offense, which is what the main thing I'm excited about this season, other than seeing what the defense is seeing how they kind of switch up the offense a little bit going into this year from the last, because they're not going to be doing all the same shit from last year. So I'm interested to see what Sirianni and the new coordinators kind of cook up, but we're almost there. We're so close. I mean, we got preseason game tomorrow night, and then only a couple weeks until week 1.
Yep. And then also, if you're watching us on Shady Sports Network, please make sure you also hop over to youtube.com/@Eagles Elite Podcast. Check us out. If you're watching Eagles Elite Podcast, make sure you also check out youtube.com/@Shady Sports Network. They have a lot of things going with football. And with that being said, our partner for this show, where we're streaming on both different platforms got a little message from them. So check this out. We'll be right back with our very last thoughts and wrapping the show up.
This is Brett, and you're watching Shady Sports Network. Tune in, hit that like button.
You might wonder, what do these guys do? Player signing announcements. I never in a million years thought you would actually come on to break this news. So without further ado, go ahead and tell everybody what happened today.
Yeah, man. I just had to work out with the Cincinnati Bengals. Signing me right out.
Without further ado, I'd like to announce that, I'll be taking my talents to Salina Liberty.
This just in, the Major League of Football is reportedly collapsing, unable to pay hotel room bills, with players being kicked out of their rooms and hotel managers asking them to leave voluntarily without issue.
So a couple more comments here, guys. We always love the comments. I appreciate all the interaction tonight. I love it when we got that constant interaction, man. It just makes the show so much more fun. But Key says put Bobblehead there. He'll break one or two. Bobblehead will do so. That is true. And also, Mr. Sam Shady himself says Chris is dreaming. Mm-hmm. Chris is dreaming, and Chris has had a knock upside the head or delusional dream, or took too much cough syrup or something's happened. Well, hey, those things happen.
Too much coffee or something.
Yeah, those things happen. Those things happen. So we're not going to judge him for that. It's not his fault. So for me, I just want to, of course, again say happy birthday to Wyatt.
Oh,
I appreciate him coming on his birthday, spending that time with us. I appreciate everybody that watches live. Everybody that checks out the replay. I always say, make sure you tell 2 of your friends and 4 of your enemies. Just because they don't like you doesn't mean that they won't like us. And then at the end of this day, I always have to say and remind everybody, I have to ask the question, and I have to answer the question as well. And that question is, are the Philadelphia Eagles going to win the division, win the conference, and compete for a win Super Bowl this year?
Because that's the bottom line. Because Stone Cold said so.
Basically.
Oh, and Rod and all of you other New England Patriots fans, we coming.
I was waiting for it. I was ready. I was waiting all off season for that moment.
And he actually been quiet for the past couple of weeks, and then we had some ain't that crazy?
Now you gonna start it again.
I know.
He wills, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
and by the way, I know y'all don't know this, but Chris is also a Patriots fan. So Chris, this is especially for you right here. After what we do to the Patriots, this is all you're gonna be able to say.
I love those.
Can you dig that sucker?
And with that being said, we dropping the outro. # Flag Eagles Fly.
Be elite.
# Be elite. And we'll see you next week with more tomfoolery, because that's what we're about.
Yep.